Yo.
How's it going? Hopefully the text-to-speech works for longer than a couple messages tonight.
Nothing much, been really enjoying Neo for the past day.
Did you not invite me because of what I said last night? I didn't see you playing when I got on though, so. I got on at like 2 or 3 o'clock and it had said you were on 3 hours ago and I was like, what the fuck, dude?
I got on at 5 or so. Then it said we were on 7 minutes ago.
Oh yeah. Because I fell asleep for a couple minutes on my couch and I went into rest mode.
I see.
I was, for a second when you said that, I was like, I don't remember turning off my PS4. And then I was like, I didn't. It went into rest mode. But it didn't go into rest mode with the game on. I hate having that happen. One of the last times I was using my PS4, I can't remember, I think I was playing Code Vein, and the game went into rest mode, or the console went into rest mode while the game was on, and when I turned the console back on, everything loaded fine, and I played the game for probably like an hour or two, and I put out of the game and back to the dashboard, and I got an error message that said, database is corrupted, restart PS4. And I was like, what the fuck? But apparently, like, something in my notifications just didn't load correctly. It wasn't like anything serious. But for whatever reason, it just didn't notify me or say anything until I had quit out of the game. Neither was, like I said, the console didn't act funny or anything. That was like a month almost 2 months ago at this point. Can you stop? He will not let me hit that win. Monster Hunter World AI. You can see why when Iceborne came out, this was the monster that brick-walled me and forced me to get master rank gear. Because you just get clipped by everything. And you just can't hit him. There we go. The old school way. Should have brought some traps the true old school way. Wow. There we go. He's not giving me the mount. I mounted him twice last time I fought him. How's my meat stick? Got meat. How is that the left arm?
one-shot Oreo is actually insane.
What do you mean? It's like the easiest boss in the game to never get hit by. You get behind him, all he does is spam the same attack. Your advantage.
Yeah, if you can chess Hizaru, but you have to play perfectly for 3-4 minutes, or if you get once you die, and since his hitbox is massive, he...
Nah. Meraki is way worse. It's taking you 5 minutes to kill Onryoki. You need to either look into Discord or upgrade your stuff some better. I just completely... It was like I took that sentence, put each word inside of a box, and just shook it.
Say Onryoki.
I know what one you mean. I'm saying Meraki is way worse. That boss at least has abusable AI. Meraki doesn't. Onryoki can basically be stun locked to death. You think that's hard? Just wait until you come across Onryoki as a normal enemy on like Abyss floor level 900.
Lol. I am not saying he is hard, he is just an annoying dodging simulator.
I mean, any boss is going to be if you're having a problem with him, dude. I wish Monster Hunter let you change the look of anything into anything else, because I love the look of this weapon. This weapon looks almost identical to the Crypt Black Sword from Dark Souls 2, which is one of my favorite Souls game weapons. It's the exact same design. It's just a giant wedge as a sword. It's not even really a cutting weapon so much as it's a blunt weapon. Garuga. Ow. Excuse me. Give me a second. Why? Why do they do this? It's weakness exploit level 2 with a 1 slot. You literally get a piece of high rank armor towards the end of high rank. Hold on, where is it? Right here. That is fucking weakness exploit level 2 with a level 3 gem slot on it. Like, why? Who the fuck decides this crap? It also kind of reminds me, I can't talk as of the past couple days for whatever reason, but it also reminds me of the Grand Marshal's Claymore from World of Warcraft. Kind of matches my aesthetic that I have going on. I look like if Monster Hunter had like a royal guard. And no, I'm not talking about DMC. Royal Guard! I look like if Monster Hunter had like a giant capital, which it does, technically, if Monster Hunter Stories is canon with the Monster Hunter World environment.
Yeah, I see it, lol.
But also, if you, I assume you're using your phone or whatever, so you can't look it up. But I was going to say, look up the Crypt Black Sword. The only thing that's different about this to the Crypt Black Sword is more uniform in shape. It looks literally like you took one of those popsicle things out of the little popsicle sleeve, and it's got like the perfectly symmetrical sides and everything. This is a lot more tapered. The other one doesn't taper as much, but it's got that same kind of like blade profile and everything, where it's just a stupidly thick sword for no reason. Dunkle dunk dee dunkle dee. You can literally say whatever lyrics you want to the frickin' Saliana song. Muscle Monkey Madness. Are there any ones that I haven't? The only one I haven't done is Valhazak, and I don't want to do Valhazak right now because I can't do Valhazak with this. Fruit-eating feline? Hey, yo! It's me! I'm looking at the clientele. Come on, help a feller out. Gullible Palico. I thought my ears would bleed. Thanks for stopping by. Yo, 'tis I. Hey, 'tis I again. What? Oh, yeah, I have them all red completed. Never mind. Yo, when a girl walks into a place, I'm always just like, hey, you got red completed? And she's like, just blue? I'm like, you can't see me, I was like holding my hand up like a stop sign.
You be a pig.
You're a pig. Oh, because she has blue completed and not red completed. Haha, funny joke. I'm funny, everybody laugh. I'm funny, everybody laugh. I'm funny, everybody laugh. Do you know that one, like, really interesting fact about the world? It's like a really, really cool fact, is that I'm funny. So laugh at me now. I demand it. Laugh with me, I demand it. Ha 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 ha.
Suck on calendars.
What? I can't even see that because it. I had to change it to live chat. Cow udders. Yo, suck on these udders. I get milk straight from the source. No soy boys around here. Calcium deficient. The guy's name makes me think he's from China, but the JP part obviously means he's from Japan, but I didn't know people in Japan had names structured like that.
Emoji face vomiting.
Hyro, I was doing like tasteful humor. You're just doing what you can read on any person from any city's Twitter. When it's 100 degrees out and she takes her clothes off.
Yeah. Now for this hot weather.
Fancy feast is what that is. Come on, Chippo. You bastard. Bing, bing, bing. Dum. What? How do we... What? Physics? Oh. That was off the ground. That's not how electricity works. We nicked it. Damn, that hits hard. No, I wanted to clip his toenails. No! I wanted my Toyota Corolla armor. Because who can afford a Supra? Nerd. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike. What? Get tripped! Fall on the ground! That's ouch. Yeah. I could feel it coming. I couldn't get awake fast enough to dust to life. I really wish I had Rocksteady. Can someone else do a grapple besides me? You guys are friggin' useless. Dude's like, I don't like using longsword against this guy. I go heavy bowgun. See how he likes my sticky ammo. I didn't even see what he was firing. I just knew that that's what he pulled out. Because that's like the trump card of fucking Iceborne. It was a sticky ammo bowgun. Look at that guy. He's got a trump card in his hand. Oh, got hit with the trump card. Oh, he's firing Pierce now. Wow. You bastard. He's got earplugs. Oh no. Yes. He must have earplugs. You bastard! Shut up, T-Rex. Eat farts. Eat my farts. Oh, I need to go get the tail. Dunkly dunk. Dunk. Dunk, dunk. Oh, I'm too far away for the music. You son of a flat. You son of a butt flat. You little bitch. People who cluster in a trap on a team of non-bowgun users. They move like cluster damage! Oh, now you grapple. Ha! Huh. You had a dung pot on, Dumbo. You're Gringless. You got him. I wish the great sword was held in a more anime manner. I look like I'm halfway in the snow. Clever clutcher. Yeah, because I was the only fucking person doing it. Normally, you would only need to have that, say, like, 8 to 12. But no, it had to be 24, because I was the only person doing it. Until the very end. Where the guy climbed on and tried to dung pot it into the wall. Although I do agree with some of the people that I've seen online, there should be an option to swap your slinger ammo while riding. Because you can have 2 loaded in. You can have one that you picked up and then the one that you put in it from your inventory. But in order to use the one that you picked up, you have to either go back to the one in your inventory and select it again so that your character takes it out, or you have to use the other one completely. So it's not like a... Like, there's an added system in there that doesn't need to be there. Wait, no. Barioth would be... Dunk, 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 dunk. Rats. Mike. Mike. I don't have any hot drink. Whoops. Double whoops. Power code. Juice me. Top of the tail. What? What? Is that? I've always wondered, is that supposed to be an attack? And they just like never finished like making it look like an Iceborne attack? Because it looks like a fucking Monster Hunter from PSP attack. Which is where this guy is from, technically. Same with T-Rex. They've been around for a long time. That's why they share the same skeleton. There's a lot of monsters that have their skeleton, or that skeleton, like Nargacuga is another one. It's why when they added one, they had to add like almost every single one that has that skeleton. Because it'd be pointless to waste it. Monster Hunter, I shouldn't say does the same thing that Souls games does, but more so that Souls games kind of gleaned from Monster Hunter how to make a lot of their like enemies and monsters, where it's like you have a base skeleton and then you just make different proprietary animations in between different ones. That's all handled within data. So even though, like, technologically speaking, Barioth isn't that much different than Tigrex, who isn't that much different than Nargacuga, but they all have unique stuff built around their model. Come on, why do people do this? Fuck off with your cluster shit. I hate Bowgun. Delete it from Monster Hunter. Never make another one of these games again with a ranged weapon in it. The games will be so much better because of it. Now that the slinger exists, all you need to do is balance the slinger so that everyone... Yeah, that's what you get for having a bow gun, dude. Get out of here. See you next Tuesday. Rag environment. Holy shit. I can feel the heal. That's one of the best heal responses I think I've seen. Really? Can you not, guy? That's what you get, nerd. I'm way cooler looking than everyone else. I don't even really care how well I perform. All that matters is just that I look cooler. Yep. everyone else in their weird mixed armor or whatever, and I'm just over here looking like I belong in the game. It's like, why am I hunting among these peasant hunters? I need more renowned, established hunters like myself.
Huh?
You gotta be worldwide. Mr. Worldwide. Snow, no, man. Snow, man. Looking cool in a video game where you can actually see your character is the best thing. Whoops. Friggin' sick! And then you have to... Whoops. My character's smile looks like the smile when someone really doesn't want to take a photo, but they do it anyways so they don't seem like an asshole, so they have like this disingenuous smile. It kinda, a better way to describe it is, it reminds me of Hide the Pain Harold, whose name is not actually Harold. That's just what the internet calls him. He's actually like a Turkish model or something like that. And he didn't even mean to be a model. Someone asked him if they could take photographs of him or something. He had a TED Talk about it, which is amazing because the guy like learned English just to have that TED Talk. Well, he probably already knew some words in English, but he probably didn't know how to speak it fluently enough to be the host of his own show on a popular thing that does live shows about different people from the internet and other things that are going on. Man, it's almost like I got sick because all the people in my family are sick, and every single person in my family is the kind of inconsiderate person that will walk by you and cough mouth open, not covering their mouth, and act like if you say anything about them doing that you're personally attacking them, and they get all fucking defensive about it. And it's like, I know you grew up in a different era than me, but cover your fucking mouth. So I don't talk about my family that much, because most of the people in my family just annoy the ever-living shit out of me. It's people like that. It's people like the people in my family that are the reason why viral outbreaks happen. Because they have no respect for modern health practices. And I mean, that's a lot of the people who live in the countryside. They're like, well, it hasn't affected me, so why should I care? And then when they do get sick or something does affect them, they don't act like it matters. That it's somehow just a coincidence. Again, when you and like most of the people around your age all walk around like fucking hacking, and you do it without covering your mouth or at least like turning your fucking head away from other people, the definition of someone who would make every single other person sick on an airplane. Because they'd cough into the open air, all the little tiny water particles that come out when you cough that you can't necessarily see go into the air and then just float around and everyone has to breathe that in. Fuck. I would be the weirdo on an airplane who would wear a surgical mask or something like that. Just because I don't trust other people at all when it comes to that kind of shit, and I've gotten sick so many times because of being around people who open mouth cough and don't at least like put their sleeve in front of their mouth when they cough. At the bare minimum, I do that. Most of the time though, I'll put my entire like arm up to my mouth. And my cough is kind of squeaky. Like, I mean, I can't really force a real cough for you, but I can make myself cough here in a minute or so. I have a very squeaky, like, held air in type of cough. Normally just because of my airways. Luckily, I don't really have I was born with asthma, but I grew out of it when I was like 13, 14 years old. Mostly because I really liked gym and not necessarily being physically active. I just liked a lot of the things associated with being physically active. And that just naturally led me to breathing more, which I don't know how it works, but my asthma just didn't exist. I don't even wheeze to this day, even when I get like a real bad chest cold. And I don't get things like bronchitis or anything like that. Alright. God. Welcome back.
Well, I technically want he gone, but I want he watching the stream.
What were you doing? Okay.
What video game would you pick if you were to die and you would in real life?
What? That isn't a proper sentence, dude.
Answer the question, nerd.
It's not a question. Read it out loud. Maybe in your brain it sounds correct, but the way you wrote it down, it's not a... If you were to die in you would real life. If you were to die in you would in real life. If you were to die in you would in real life. If you were to die in you would in real life. What does that even mean, dude?
Alright man, since you want to be hard ass from now on, ILL speak grammatically correct.
That isn't even phonetic. Like, I don't see how you think that that
Damn
sentence
it, I already messed it up.
makes sense. If you think that sentence you typed makes any sense, more power to you. But I do not understand what it means, therefore I cannot answer your question.
What video game would you pick if you were to die in? You would die in real life.
This dude by himself with no palico. Well. This is just going to be a dying simulator.
Anyways, I'll be right back again. When I do come back, I want an answer.
I don't know what the fuck you're asking me, so... You won't get one. Oh, come on! Give me a break, game. I'm just gonna get hit by that every single time, aren't I? Because there's actually nothing I can do to avoid it. If I'm attacking and he does that next to me, I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just like, I'm basically in slow motion and the boss is at like 2x speed. Which has always been the problem that I have with all this Iceborne content. It's just like, for the amount of time it takes you to do one action, the monster has done 3. Of course. I don't even think I'm going to bother healing. This is why I don't fight tempered elders in Iceborne. I would love to be able to tackle half of this stuff. But I can't even keep my weapon out for long enough to be able to do it. And if I do, it's always when I'm at the end of my swing that he turns and hits me. Just like that. Just like that. People wonder why I do defense builds. Goes upwards? God, dude. How do you even wound a fucking monster that doesn't stop fucking attacking? God. The hammer is the only fucking weapon that can actually wound any monster regularly. Every other weapon is just you claw on to get knocked off no matter when you fucking try to claw on. It's so annoying. Just let me fucking weaken a part of the monster. One single part without getting fucking knocked off. Jesus Christ. Like, I can understand that sometimes I'm not exactly doing it
at the most optimal of times, but there is no fucking optimum time with this guy. Because even on his longest fucking attack, he just instantly recovers and does the one little foot shove, and then you get knocked off. Every fucking time. Without the hammer, I have no idea how you're ever supposed to fucking weaken half of these parts. Especially with a longsword where you have to do it twice. So again, why I don't fight Tempered Elders and why I think the end game in Monster Hunter World is so bad. Like, who the fuck enjoys fighting that? Besides just a fucking masochist, dude. It's like 2 weapons in the game that are good against him. Every other weapon is just a you're gonna get hit simulator. Because you can't fucking dodge anything. Oh great, Tempered Gold Rathian. Time to get 2 to 3 shots some more. I'm dead. Holy shit! You basically just teleported it. That was basically just teleporting. There's nothing in the game that could react to how fast that is. That's faster than some Bloodborne stuff. Like, it's so fast it doesn't even... Like, the animations don't match up with how fast she accelerates. People need to stop shooting singular scatter nuts at them at a time because it's really fucking with my burst fire game. Still funner to fight than Nergigante, though. Just that one fucking super speedy speed demon attack. That was my first time fighting Tempered Gold Rathian. I guess that's why that super speed demon attack seemed so new to me. Because I was like, normal normal Gold Rathian does that, but not that fast.
Back. What's the answer?
The answer is, I don't know what you're asking. If you're, like, I don't understand the question. Because if the question is, what video game...
Still.
If I died... Again, I just don't understand. Because if the premise of the question is that, would I like to die in a video game, and if so, what one? Or if I would die in a video game, but it would happen in real life, what would it fucking matter? What fucking video game it is? What video game, what difference does it make what video game it is? Like, I don't understand. Either way you worded that question, Hyro, it doesn't make sense, man. I'm sorry, dude, but...
Which one you could last the longest?
What do you mean? Is that even a serious statement? It's obviously you pick something like Animal Crossing or like Stardew Valley.
Also, yeah, if you die in the game,
because you can't die in those games, bud. That's easy. Unless the requirement is you have to be able to die in that video game. But then if you can die in that video game, but that video game has a mode where you're a god mode, then what does it matter? There's too many loopholes in that. It basically forces you to be like, no, only pick from these specific set of games. Because it's just like, you could just pick any fucking farming simulator type game. It really wouldn't matter.
No, the requirement doesn't matter.
Then it just doesn't matter. I wouldn't pick my favorite game. I'd pick a game where I knew I wouldn't die. Simple as that. I'd pick a game like The Crew 2 and then you'd internally crash all the time. That'd be the real downside of it, is not even dying, just crashing. Not crashing the car, the game crashing. Your brain game crashing.
Lol.
I don't know, dude. I don't think about that kind of stuff because I don't think what would life be like if it was a video game that often. I do in the case of weird games like Bloodborne. Because if life was like Bloodborne, that would really be interesting. But you don't die permanently in Bloodborne, you just come back. There aren't a lot of permadeath games. And if you're going by the game rules, if real life was a video game, then you have to apply all the rules of that video game to it. There'd only be a narrow selection of video games where dying would mean you're gone, basically. Be like if RuneScape was real life. I mean, there's always been the internet joke, or the meme, or whatever you want to call it, that went around for a while. The, if you die in the game, you die in real life. But that's just a joke. What you're basically asking is if real life was Sword Art Online. Just go watch Sword Art Online, dude. You can watch an entire anime about what you're asking a question about. You can watch an entire anime and play a kind of bad video game.
Hello. Sorry I'm late again. My computer was unusable for a few hours due to rendering. Also, I choose Dishonored.
My only experience with Sword Art Online is the skin and the crew 2 I had on my KTM Expo. Had the 2 characters from Sword Art Online. The almost female looking dude and then the actual girl with blue hair. But then again, with frickin' anime characters, really the only difference in between a girl character and a man character is the chin a lot of the time.
Hello, Hyro. Lol. Also pick a game that you can die in even if it has a respawn system.
What? Due to rendering? What are you, a video editor? Or do you do like graphic design as a job?
Remembered my name.
I say your name like
Hi,
fucking
Rachel, was it?
20 times a stream when I'm talking to you though, so. It's no big deal though. I'm not gonna be streaming for too much longer. I'll have longer streams during the week for the most part. I'm only gonna be here about another
for not remembering.
hour. Harika. But I don't know if that's like, I know sometimes in Japan they put the last name first, but I assume since you were talking to English speakers, you put your first name first. Is that still a thing? Do people still call, like, other people by their last name in Japan often? Is that mostly on a business level?
I see.
Kobayashi-san. I always found it funny when Souls YouTubers would refer to Miyazaki as Miyazaki-san. It's like, but I know you're on the inside when it comes to working with them, but
Yes, my username is Takada Hariko, but I flip it to tell you my given name.
I guess when I think about it, most people still do denominate by the last name, even when people tell them their first name. Because everyone refers to Miyazaki as Miyazaki, even though his first name is Hidetaka.
That is
No,
cool.
no one calls him that.
Hariko?
Oh, yeah. I'm so bad. You typed it twice, but I'm terrible with names. It just helps because Hyro has like a very easy to remember name.
Also, I don't do video rendering. I do rendering in C4D, which annihilates my PC.
Oh, in CAD. I see. Isn't that what people call it, CAD?
What's that?
She can probably give a better explanation than I can.
C4D is Cinema 4D is a 3D modeling animation simulation software.
Oh, so you're not doing graphic design. Are you working in game design, or are you working in like 3D movies?
What do you use it for?
It's normally used for well, depends on where you live more so, but a lot of the time it's used for like commercials or used for making models or animations for other software to be used in like animation and stuff like that. Or not in animation, I mean like in like video making and shit like that.
So she makes games?
No. Well, I can't speak for her specifically, but it doesn't necessarily have to do with games. That specifically normally pertains to like pre-rendered video or pre-rendered cutscene or like I said, with like a commercial. You ever seen a commercial with like a 3D modeled guy next to a human?
The still kind, not animation. My work is mostly interior creation.
Oh, so yeah. It's like a set designer. It has a lot of different uses, Hyro. It's kind of like a more professional and high-end Blender, if you've ever heard of Blender before, Hyro. Blender doesn't have a lot of the features that has. That can do stuff in a lot higher detail.
No, I don't really know much about anything. As for game design, C4D is not capable of game creation.
Yeah. It's capable of like making a pre-rendered cutscene, making models and stuff like that for like a trailer for a video game, but it's not something you would design or use for gameplay in any way whatsoever. You would not use it for the actual game. You'd use it for like a video or a movie within the game.
I see.
It's like Source Filmmaker in a way, but again, it has a lot different features. Source Filmmaker is more of a direct production kind of software. Being that it's compatible with lots of different models.
Is the job your job is in Japan?
I mean, you could probably assume so. I don't think you'd even, like, why do you need to ask that question? That's pretty much what she was saying.
Yes, I work for a company that sells apartments.
Oh. He's gonna spin to win. Oh. No, he backed up. I almost died from that.
Just said on my microphone and it heard. I don't think I broke it surprisingly.
That's good. Why'd you even have your microphone out? I'd be more worried about the earpiece part.
I didn't put it away after I was done using it. I just left it on my chair and forget and just sat in it. Emoji happy tears.
Alright. Shouldn't you be in bed so you don't get your sleeping schedule all fucked up? Oh, 396.
Haven't he seen Ricky in a couple days? Also yet I should be sleeping.
That's because he's not up during this time, dude. If I streamed at like 9 o'clock at night or at like 7 a.m. in the morning, I'm sure he'd be around. I've just been streaming during the time when he's normally not awake. He actually has a schedule, unlike most of us.
No. I have a schedule, I just don't follow it.
Yeah, that means you don't have a schedule. Choppa de tail. Oh. What the hell? He can get his face stuck in these? I've never seen that. I assumed there were people who figured that out in the frickin' beta, but I didn't. It's my first time seeing that. Ooh, the 1K. Oh, don't. Come here, buddy. Such a cootie. Would you love a pet skunk badger wolf? I'd love a little pet skunk badger wolf.
Being Sunday feels so surreal, time passes way too fast when you enjoy it. Agreed.
Oh, am I really about to paint a normal berry off? Son of a bitch! Please, let me use the clutch claw. And, yeah. This RNG has been amazing so far. Damn it. I hope that first one went back. As I went to swing, his tail went over my head. I want to hit his tail, but he's so good at making it so you can't. Oh, I was on his tail. Thought I was on his hind legs, but then I remembered you can't on him. Yeah. Should have figured. Got it. Got the tail. I love how you can stay on them like that, but if they do a little tiny bumpy attack with that limb or arm, you get knocked off. Okay, thanks, bud. I mean, we were already gonna get a guaranteed knockdown, but okay. Thanks, dude. I should change don't flash my ride to don't clutch my ride.
GG.
I'm gonna get a... Oh, I did get a tail from the tail this time. Here's the ultimate disrespect. Critical kicks to the face. Rude. That was so rude, bow guy. You can't let me enjoy kicking him while he's down. The ultimate disrespect. Wow. Wow. I've gotten a KO with the kick before. Slugger Greatsword kick mode. Activate. You can't bounce the kick can't be bounced. Just kick them till they're down, and then kick them while they're down. I want to do, sometime as a joke, I want to do Great Jagras kick only. Just using the kick from the Greatsword. But I always accidentally end up tackling. And tackling does like the damage of 7 kicks. Muscle Monkey Madness. Are you muscle? Are you monkey? And are you mad? All the time. Weakener? Damn, I should have used a voucher. That would have been the smart guy move. But I don't know if Weakener gets applied when you join a hunt midway through. I think Weakener only gets applied on the start of a hunt. But I could be wrong. Dun 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 ding dong dee dong dong. I already have the music in my head. I don't even need it in the game. One swing for my Grand Marshal's Claymore. Shouldn't have even gone for the swing. Donkey dunk. Donkey. Donkey. Oh, they actually do hit each other. Oh my god, the guy launched me into being hit by the other one. Don't cross the beams. Monkey busters. One down. Oh, how did that not hit me? How did that not hit me again? Ryan? Is that guy's name? I'm ready. Go on. Set it off. What? I got tremored by the last hit in that? What? That didn't collide? That didn't win the Worlds Collide? That's alright, I don't know. We got collision. I hate the way that sword sounds. Sounds like someone didn't screw the frickin' thing together correctly, and all you can hear is as the thing vibrates. It's like a friggin' tuning fork. I only just realized now, having used this build for like an hour and a half, that it doesn't have non-elemental boost on it, even though that's what I'm using it as. Genius. Wow!
IQ plays.
Yeah, well, it's like I sacrificed 5% crit boost to gain 10% damage overall, because that's the only thing only space I got to swap it out for. And I'm not swapping it out for evade extender. That's a no. There. Critical boost, schmidtical boost. It's hard for me to say. Friggin' sick! I'm really only using this sword because of fashion. 100% because it looks good and goes with the set that I've been using for the entirety of Iceborne, pretty much. Shocking climax. Here we can go. We'll go
Your
something
character
else.
does look pretty cool.
Where's my... I thought I made gun lance builds with my gun lances. But I guess I didn't. Yeah. Where even is my normal gun lance builds? There's one.
What is your favorite color?
Favorite color is purple, but a deep purple. Second would probably be orange.
Midnight purple to be specific.
Yeah, that's a really good color. I also like burgundies and maroons. Those are other good colors. boomer colors, as a lot of the younger generation would call it. Whoops. If I hadn't accidentally turned around. No, you can't block that. Like, let me stand up. You goober. You weren't even the one who was trapped. Help, I'm not pinned down. No one's stopping me from standing up, and I'm just sitting here on the ground, looking up, wondering why. Why am I sitting down? I don't think there's a Meowster out. Yeah, his thing is just taking him to Zen Ogre. Namiel hasn't spawned in yet. She spawns in here. See. I'm literally right where she's going to move to, and then she'll fly up and go up there. You see nothing. Nothing. This is not weird at all. This is a complete natural occurrence. I love how it didn't count me as having seen the monster. What the fuck was that? I saw the monster. I was the first one. It's some malarkey. Some hogwash. It's like I'm playing a first-person game now. Stop. trying to angle that upwards, but turning that time to... Gun Lance is such good, just constant DPS. Even though I missed my little bomb thing half of the time.
GG.
But that one's also not tempered.
I haven't really used gun lance all that much.
It's a very divisive weapon, even within the users of the weapon itself. There are people who are long shelling devotees, people who are normal shelling devotees, but the general agreement is that wide shelling is just pretty bad. Because it has a negative damage modifier on most of the shelling things that you can do with it, so having artillery with a wide shelling is almost pointless. Which, if you're going to be using a gun lance for attacking instead of gunning, what the fuck is the point of the gun lance? It's a gun lance. It's not just a lance with alternative attacks. That's the thing I hate the most about it. Fucking Monster Hunter Generations gun lance is so much funner than Monster Hunter Worlds, and it's way simpler. It doesn't have to be overtly complicated like it is now, where to understand the different kinds of stuff and even use it to its full effectiveness, you need to have a specific set of armor. And there's no way around it. You have to have some amount of Zora Magdaro stuff equipped. I mean, granted, with Safi Jiva's stuff, you can put Zora Magdaros essence on one of them, but you can only put one of it on, so you still have to have two of the armor pieces equipped. Gunlance also uses a ridiculously high amount of shelling, or not shelling, sorry, sharpness. It obviously uses shelling. It uses a lot of sharpness compared to other weapons. Even the dual swords don't use as much sharpness as the gun lance. Depending on what type of gun lance you're using as well, drastically affects your sharpness usage. Normal gun lance will go through a giant chunk of white sharpness in like less than a minute and a half. It's not even that hard for it. Razor sharp spare shot doesn't even do a lot.
I see.
for me, I'm personally a long shelling user, and most of the people that I know that I've converted into using gun lance prefer using long shelling, because you can use a variety of attacks with it, and it's not bad. You can just press the shelling button. You don't have to do charge shelling. You can just tap circle, press triangle, tap circle, press triangle, and just keep doing that over and over and over again. You don't have to charge. But you do need artillery if you want it to do any meaningful damage whatsoever, because it does not scale that highly with attack, and also because part of its damage is tied to a canteen skill, which is probably one of the most annoying parts about gun lance, is that 20% of your damage comes from this feline bombardier skill. Without it, you basically, like, for example, in that last fight, I was hitting 150 of charge shelling. I could hit 170 with that. That's 20 extra damage of shelling. And with how many shelling you hit the monster for, that adds up over time. Now, granted, I didn't get it that time around, because you really don't need it. As long as you can hit your little bomb that you put on them often enough to trigger the extra 100 damage, you're hitting for 250 damage consistently. And the gun lance is one of the best in that regard. It doesn't matter if the part's weak or not. It's one of the only benefits of using a gun lance in Iceborne, is that you don't really need the clutch claw with it, because you're not really going to be normal attacking a lot. Most of your damage comes from shelling with a long gun lance. Whereas with a normal gun lance, you kind of have a mix of both attacks and burst firing. Because with a normal gun lance, you use burst fire combo, which is when you do the upswing, slam, and then burst fire, wide sweep, quick reload, slam, burst fire, wide sweep, quick reload, and you just do that. I'm only saying it spaced out because that's how fast the attacks are when you're doing it as a combo. And you're stuck in place. You can't guard out of any of the attacks, so your shield is basically just a ha-ha funny joke kind of thing. And I hate that about the gun lance. In my opinion, I would like gun lance better if it was more of a battering ram type weapon, to distinguish it from the normal lance. Just completely remove the guarding aspect of it, or neuter the guarding aspect and make it more like a heavy bow gun with a guard mod on it. Just have like a little baby shield that only activates when you're facing the direction or something like that. No dedicated guard button. It'd be a lot funner if it was more of a battering ram and you had slightly more mobility. If instead of hopping, you rolled. And if you didn't have a shield, you could roll. Because you just roll with the gun lance like the character does with the greatsword. Or with the switch axe. Because that would make having no guarding in most of its attacks make sense. But currently, the gun lance is only like really nuanced and weird to use because there's no reactionary guard skills. There's no way for you to be mid combo or something like that and guard. Even the greatsword, I would argue, is better at guarding than the gun lance, because if you're guarding with the gun lance, there's nothing you're going to be doing out of guarding. you're not going to be like immediately hitting for a lot of damage, because you can't charge shelling from a standstill. In order to charge shelling, you have to attack or shell at least one time in order to charge it. I don't know. Gun lance is a cool weapon, but again, I would like it so much more if it was just a two-handed weapon. Just two-hand it and, like I said, use it like a battering ram where you're putting a lot more effort into the attacks and give it like a 20 to 30% damage increase on its actual swings. Because then a wide gun lance would make more sense. Because then you would actually have people who'd want to do melee. Because instead of it just being a fucking poke thing, it would have like, maybe kind of like the hammer. You could have a slam combo and other types of combos as well. Because it already works like that. If you just press triangle, you thrust attack. If you press guard and triangle, you do a thrust at an angle. But if you press circle triangle, you do the uplift, which combos into the slam. And that's your only way to access burst fire. And really, you could just have the weapon be designed the same way. I just don't like the fact that if you're using guard on a gun lance, that means you're being extremely passive. And you're probably not dealing that much damage. Like a guy with a long sword who's just foresight slashing every 5 seconds is a better alternative. And I don't like to use counters as a means to compare a weapon's viability, because obviously a switch axe doesn't have any counter. But what a switch axe does have is damage. And immediate damage that you can just pull out, and it does a lot right off the gate. Gun lance damage, you have to build up to it, and you also have your highest damaging attack be something that takes 3 seconds to charge, and it knocks all your teammates over if you hit them with it. So like you saw in there, I never used my Wyvern's Fire a single time, because in some cases, unless you have a really good clean shot on your like bomb, it's not even worth using it. Because most of the time you're gonna miss, because all master rank Iceborne monsters move around a crap ton. And very rarely are you gonna be able to sit there and just charge up that entire thing and hit with it. That being said, I was also the person using Greatsword, but Greatsword has flexibility. Greatsword, you don't need to use it as a charge attack weapon, even though it is better. You can use it all with just instant attacks. Just doing triangles, tackles, and I always mix it up. It's not the charged wide slash, it's the leaping wide slash. The thing you do after a circle input. My personal favorite weapon from a functionality standpoint is the lance. My only problem with the lance in Iceborne is they made it deal so little damage that I never feel like I can contribute enough to outweigh the fact I'm a defensive orientated weapon. In high rank, I could speed kill monsters stupidly fast with lance, because lance would hit like 70 to 80 damage a poke in high rank. In master rank, where the monsters have almost double the health, I'm hitting for the same exact amount of damage. And maybe if I'm using a good build with an elemental weakness like advantage, I'll hit for 100 a poke. And that's just dog shit. It really is just bad. Hitting for 100 a poke isn't even that good. Even in high rank, if you had a really decked out lance build with all offensive skills, you would be hitting like 100 to 125 a poke. You'd still kill stuff slower than a guy with an unoptimal longsword or hammer build or anything like that, because those weapons deal damage. Which makes sense. I'm not saying the lance should be able to kill stuff super fast. But if you're not going to give it a really strong attack and you're going to nerf it and make its elements and ailments deal less just across the board, then why even have the option of having half of the weapons be elemental? Like, they added all this elemental onto the lances. If you don't know what I mean by that, one of the patches when Iceborne came out was a patch that changed a bunch of the weapons' elemental apply on hit multiplier and reduced their multiplier on hit. I couldn't tell you by exact amounts, but I could give you a rough estimate for what that would be. So say like you're using a set of dual blades, right? Or a lance, in this case. You hit the enemy with 300 element, it factors in that enemy's resistance, and your element gets applied. That's if the attack multiplier on your weapon is a 1.0. So, an attack multiplier being 1.0 means you're dealing 100% damage. You're dealing what your damage would be normally. So you're dealing 100% of your elemental damage on hit. Your weapon has 300 fire damage on it, right? So your weapon having 300 fire damage, the enemy has 0 fire resistance. In a logical game or a game without more complicated mathematics, then you'd think, oh, so that means I'm going to hit 300 fire damage a hit. But that's not how Monster Hunter calculates its damage. So in Monster Hunter, everything has a weird attack multiplier associated with it, which is actually dealing less than what's listed, obviously, on the attack. It's why no matter what you swing at in Monster Hunter, you never hit for the number of the attack that's listed on whatever the weapon is. If your attack says 600, you'll hit a 60, or something like that, because of how the attack multiplier values are calculated. And what they did for a lot of the weapons like dual blades and lance and stuff like that, they nerfed the already low attack multiplier for the element. So even, let's say, in an extreme case in like high rank, say you had 700 element on a weapon with critical element, you would actually be dealing more damage in high rank with that setup than you would in master rank, regardless of defense, because in master rank they made the weapons just hit fundamentally lower, so you need more element to hit the same amount. So in order to hit the same amount that you would have in high rank or vanilla Monster Hunter World, you need approximately 50 to 70 more element on certain weapons to break even, which is bullshit. Because it gives you the idea that when you're upgrading your old high rank weapons to master rank weapons, and they jump up by like 100 or 150 element, you think, oh shit, that's gonna be a big difference. But then you go and attack an enemy, and it's almost negligible, because it's barely breaking even. And that's the fucking problem. And there's so many, like, It's the reason why everyone in Monster Hunter World, specifically, mostly goes with elementless builds. Because unless the monster is stupidly resistant to physical attacks, there's almost no reason you'd ever use an elemental setup. The only cases to be made for using an elemental setup in this game is literally the charge blade that I was using earlier, before you got here. I'll just put it on. Has 800 ice attack on it. Plus the power element file dealing ridiculous ice damage. But only on things that are weak to ice, obviously. And this is the highest element damage you can deal in the game. As far as like a per hit sort of thing goes. And it's only that way on Diablos. It's not that way on anything else in the game. Only Diablos, because Diablos is the only one that has a low enough resistance to ice to make it that much better. Nothing else in the game is like that. Because, and again, one of my other main gripes with Monster Hunter World that I've always had is they took away so many weak points that used to exist on monsters. Even Reijang, his entire body used to be basically a weak point. But they changed up how his weak points and stuff work because in Iceborne they added the Clutch Claw mechanic. Because that's fun. I don't like the Clutch Claw, personally. I think it's a convoluted mechanic that they put in that you're basically required to do, not because it's like a cool extra mechanic, but because it's kind of a required mechanic if you want to deal good damage. Even with element, you need it. I just hope the next Monster Hunter game that they make doesn't turn out like Monster Hunter World's endgame does. Because Monster Hunter World's endgame is kind of the definition of disappointment. The rewards aren't super rewarding. A lot of the hard content is just simply too overtuned for most people to enjoy. Which is fine. I mean, Monster Hunter games have always been for the super hardcore people. But it's also just like, you gotta have a reward for that. And in previous Monster Hunter games, there was always like farming for charms or better shit that would give you ridiculously good stats put together on one item. As I've talked about a ton of times. Whereas in fucking Monster Hunter World, it's all fixed. All the charms are just that. They're fixed. You can't... There's hardly any variety when it comes to the way that you could mix up stuff with charms. Granted, the decoration system is good, but I hate the fact that modern video games pull the 2 steps forward, 1 step backward thing. It's like for every 2 good things you get, they take away one of those good things and add another questionably good thing. Like if they had both the charm farming system and the decoration system, I think it would be great. But sadly, all we have is a busted system that just gives you decorations based on your willingness to keep doing the same 4 tempered elder dragons over and over and over again. And hope you don't get driven mad by being one-shot by random shit. I stick around though because I've played too many Monster Hunter games and have put too much time into the franchise to just drop it in a weird way. It's the only game like it that's good. Every other game that tries to mimic it sucks. Even worse than Monster Hunter World sucks compared to some of the other games. Monster Hunter World is great from a functionality standpoint, don't get me wrong. It is the most functional Monster Hunter game. And probably the easiest to get into because of that. But it is also the hardest Monster Hunter game because a lot of the AI is designed in a very fuck you kind of manner. No one likes the fucking nonsense that they started doing with you flinch a monster and it reels back and then attacks you immediately. And because you flinched it, meaning that you're probably in the middle of attacking, you're gonna get hit. And almost all, if not every single one of the master rank monsters do that. And it is so fucking annoying. I don't know, I hope the last bit of content that they decide to add to Iceborne is pretty good. Because it'll be a dying game pretty soon. Sad to say. Unless they plan on doing another expansion for it, but I imagine that they're probably in the process of making a new game for the PS5. If they're not in the process of making it currently, they're in the process of concepting it, and at least doing like minor upgrades to the engine or something. Unless that company is all of a sudden going to stop making Monster Hunter stuff, which I highly doubt. And knowing how successful Monster Hunter World was compared to all of their other titles, they surely can't be sleeping on the fact that the market on general consoles is a lot bigger than handhelds nowadays. I know way more people who own a PS4 or an Xbox than have a handheld. But that's just the case here in America more than anything. Back like 8 years ago, people used to have Nintendo DS's all over the place, but I think I've seen 2 Switches in the entire time it's been out being used in a public place, because most people just keep the Switch home docked. They don't use it as a mobile thing. But I'm gonna get off. I was already... And yes, text-to-speech did die again, I'm sorry. But I was still reading. At least text-to-speech died towards the end of my stream. I don't know why it's randomly dying. Yep. You too. Have a good one. I'll be back tomorrow and I'll stream for a lot longer then.